What is up, all you freaks out there? This is Ryan. How are you doing on this lovely March 14th here in the freaking awesome Paranormal Show studios? Hope everyone is having a great day. If everyone had a great weekend. My weekend sucked because, let's see, I went to bed Friday night, was feeling fine. And I woke up around 4 o'clock in the morning with the worst toothache I've ever had. I mean, it was awful. It felt like somebody was jamming a damn knife in my head. So I was dealing with that, and my family had to listen to me bitch and whine about how much pain I was in all weekend, and that was not a very good time for them either. Plus, I'd run out of Percocets. I was just downing ibuprofen and shit. Does not help at all. So finally I went to the dentist's office yesterday, and I don't know if it was just because I was in so much pain, but they were the slowest people I've ever been around. It was like, and I'm not gonna say who I went to because I don't want to put them down or whatever, but yeah, it was a long morning. So I got some antibiotics. I'm on amoxicillin. Yeah. RJ's got his cheese fries over here. There, see? Getting Andy Cap's cheddar fries.
So good.
They are good. So I got my amoxicillin and some tramadol. So I will be good. Finally, the amoxicillin is kicking in. Last night I woke up this morning I went to bed like at 2, and then woke up again at 3:45 with my my tooth like really hurting. So that kept me up for another hour. So I'm kind of in zombie mode right now. So if I am, seem like a zombie, because I am right now, but I'm super excited because I've got my decaf coffee and with sugar-free creamer. So I know I can be able to go to bed tonight, but I've got this totally awesome guest coming on tonight. I've got Lisa Marie on the show tonight. I'm super excited to, yes, it is Lisa. You know what's up. Super excited to chat with her. She's actually from Minnesota. I don't know many people from Minnesota, so that's cool. And now I have a friend in Minnesota, so I can actually say that. She's the founder of Key to the Otherside Paranormal. I feel like if I could spit that out. She's got a YouTube page. She's got some really cool evidence on there. She's also the owner of the Paranormal Mayhem Podcast. So she has a podcast like me. Maybe one day I can come her show sometime, and we can do a little switcheroo thing going on here. And yeah, I mean, she's got a lot of stuff going on, and I'm super excited to bring her on the show tonight. So let's go ahead and, oh yeah, CR. I know you're in Minnesota too. That's right. All right, let's go ahead and put her on the show, and let's get this party started. Woo!
Hi.
Whoa. What is up?
Can you actually hear me? Because last time I tried to go on, I did my show. It sounded like So how does that sound right now?
I mean, it sounds fine. If can you turn the mic up a little bit?
I think it's up all the way, actually.
I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's that?
It's good.
Okay.
Good.
Hopefully it stays.
So how is everything?
Not too bad. I got a lot of people that may not know I have haunted dolls. I have some right back here. They have so if you guys see lights going off during the show tonight, don't worry about it. They like to communicate.
Yeah, if they start falling off the shelf or whatever and start walking towards you, I'll be sure to be like, look behind you.
Oh, I would love Dooney's over there. She likes to jump off the shelf. During two podcasts ago on one of my shows, she jumped off twice during the live.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That would be fun. I would definitely enjoy catching that on the show.
It would
for
be
sure.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
We have caught EVPs on air before. where we'd be
Okay.
talking, and all of a sudden another voice would come in out of nowhere, and it's like, did you hear that? Like, who's that random person just started talking? Oh, it's
Yeah.
just a ghost.
You never know what you'll catch here because I have over 50 spirited items in the house, so anything is possible. So you never know, you might catch something.
Hey, it's pretty good chances with 50 spirited items in there.
Yeah, I also have some type of other shadows that go in the house, I guess. Apparently, I've talked to a couple of friends of mine, and they always see something when I'm on live with them or on the phone. It's
Mm-hmm.
really weird.
So how do you sleep? Is they let you sleep at night, or is it like they
Mhm.
take a time? Sometimes do they go to bed too? Just say, don't bother me at night.
Boundaries. So in my house, I have a 15-year-old daughter, and so they're not allowed to go in my room or her room. My room is a little optional. I told them if it's an emergency, they can come in and bother me. However, I have 2 spirit balls on the edge of my dresser, so they'll set those off if they need something.
So what would constitute a spiritual emergency?
It's kind of funny because to them
Like
it's the TV.
I mean,
I
it is kind of an emergency. If you want to watch your shows,
Mhm.
it's kind of like, I can't do it myself. Come on, hello.
Yeah, if you look at Key to the Other Side, I know I posted a video of one of them because I actually woke up with the flashing lights in my room, and I ended up putting the video out there because he wanted the TV on my clown doll. It was kind of funny. He's on the edge over here.
So each all have a different like TV show they like to watch, or is it like
We watch
they
we
take
watch
turns?
Disney. We watch
Oh,
Disney
oh,
mostly.
that's good, wholesome family entertainment.
Harry Potter
You know,
last week.
hey, it's good to have variety.
Yeah.
Expand their horizons, so to speak. Get them cultured.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Hi, everybody.
So, how did you get started? Like in this wonderful world of the paranormal? What got you into it? Were you watching the TV shows? Were you always into it? What happened to put you on that path?
Sure. Well, when I was a young girl growing up in the house I used to live in, when I started at 8 years old, seeing spirits and hearing them in the home that I resided in. Me and my brother actually saw the same spirits in the house. It was an older guy, older woman, always coming scared that would scare you because when you're young, you don't know what's going on. I had nightmares in this house. It was just crazy. Growing up, I still would see shadows out on the roads. It kind of ignored it a little bit when I was growing up as a teen because I was a little bit of a rebellious teen. But now getting closer now, I got more into it and spirits started kind of talking. And I was like, well, maybe I want to have my own paranormal team, which I did join a team here in Minnesota, Minnesota Spirit Hunters at first before I created my own team. So it's been years in the making, just kind of trying to figure out how do you get started, with something like that.
Yeah.
So
when you saw the stuff growing up as a
mhm.
kid, were you able to talk to anybody about it, or just was it like because you said your brother saw it too?
Yeah, I have a brother. He's younger. We saw the same thing when I started talking about it. Our sister, she doesn't really believe in that, but my grandmother, when she was alive, I started talking with her because I lived with my grandma a lot growing up. And she had told me and said, when you get older, you're going to realize what gifts that you have when you're older. I didn't know kind of what that meant until after the teen years. And she just said, in our family, we have different types of people that can see spirits and some that cannot.
What was a person doing when you saw the person when you were younger? Was it inside the house? Was it somewhere else? Was it like
No,
scary?
it was scary because I had a bunk bed. And then in the corner of the hallway, like right before you go down the stairwell, because you had to go downstairs to go to the bathroom, always in this corner, there would be a guy with a black hat. And I would cover my face because I had no idea who it was. Because I was like, what is going on? And I also remember when I had to go to the bathroom, I went to the top of the stairwell and it was dark downstairs in the living room area. And there was an actual red blanket that I used to have. It actually started floating up the stairs towards me. And I ran to my bed, covered up my face, and I stayed in my room for the night. It's pretty scary
Yeah.
growing up because you don't know about those things growing up at a young age.
Yeah, when you're a kid and like you go downstairs and everything's fine when it's light out or lights are on, but once those lights go off and you're by yourself and your parents are asleep and you're walking down that hallway, your imagination just goes crazy, and everything in the darkness can come out and get you. And when you actually see something that most people only imagine, you're actually seeing it. And damn, I'm telling freaking put a toilet in my room. I don't care. Get the plumbing ready. I don't stick a urinal in my room because I'm not going down a hallway by myself in the dark, especially when I'm 8 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was scary because you just didn't know. I didn't know growing up as a kid. I had a lot of imaginary friends. I'd be talking with people and everything, and my grandma knew what was going on, but my mom never did. She never really paid much attention to it, or she just kind of ignored it because you know how some people that are skeptics, they
Yeah.
just go, that's just your imagination. There's nothing going on. You had a bad nightmare last night. I mean, I had terrible nightmares growing up in that house. I wish I could actually go there and investigate it because when I had nightmares of drowning and killing people with forks. So it was really,
Forks.
yeah. Don't ask. I don't know. I used to wake up. I moved my bedroom from upstairs to downstairs on the second level, and I had nightmares every night in that room. I have no idea. It was like really odd.
Wow. I mean, that's oddly specific, killing people with forks.
I woke up just going, whoa, because some of the drowning stuff, I was in a car.
Mhm.
I was in a car with like 3 other people. And sometimes for dream analysis, sometimes they say if you see yourself kind of in water like that, it's usually how many kids and stuff that you're going to have down the road. Which I had 3 other people in the car with me, and I actually have 3 children now. So is it related? Maybe. I don't really know.
I wonder if anyone in the house or on the property drowned.
Yeah, I'm
Or
not
killed somebody with a
sure.
fork.
Yeah, I have no idea how old that property was because I grew up there from a young age. And we moved out of there when I was about a teenager, like 16, 17.
Hey, Kristen, how are you?
Hi,
So
everybody.
when you first started investigating, you joined what, Minnesota Spiritual
Minnesota Spirit Hunters, yes.
Spirit? Okay.
Mhm.
What was your first investigation? Tell me about how your first investigation went.
Well, you're always excited for investigations. We actually went to Ripley's, believe it or not, down, and it's on their, I believe he has it posted on their YouTube and stuff for the investigation. So we went to Wisconsin. So it was actually pretty interesting because sometimes people tell you don't leave by yourself. Don't like go off and venture. Well, I do that a lot because spirits usually will talk to me a little bit more when I am by myself. At Ripley's, believe it or not, I kind of ventured off a little bit by myself, and I went in this room. I called it the spider room because if you walk in it, there's all these dead spiders and bugs. And I actually had really the K2 was going off on command when you would ask questions and everything. It was pretty cool.
Talking about, I forgot completely forgot to do this, but I did not realize that today is National Save a Spider Day.
No,
As a holiday. I know
spider.
how people love to celebrate by saving spiders, and I almost completely forgot today is National Save a Spider Day.
Oh, geez.
And it's also National Dribble to Work Day. So if you got a basketball and you want to show your holiday spirit, just start dribbling to work, and you'll be good.
Do you like spiders? I don't.
I don't particularly care for spiders, but since it is a holiday, I might actually I'd save ones a day to show holiday spirit, of course. But most of the time I'll just tap on them.
Yeah, my most terrifying animal for me is a snake-ish. I'm gone.
See, snakes don't bother me much. I don't
Really?
Yeah, I mean, until it starts biting me, then I'll become scared of snakes.
Yeah.
I don't go seek them out or whatever, but like if someone's holding a snake like at the zoo, and they're like, "Hey, you want to hold it?" Hell yeah, I'll hold a snake.
My 15-year-old daughter just told me that she likes snakes, and I was like, "Well, we're not getting one." And she's like, "Well, why not, Mom?" I go, "Yeah, no."
I mean, I think having to watch a snake eat a mouse like that grosses me out. How they swallow it, or like watching like one of those big pythons eat like a giant like deer or something. That really just kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
So as long as I don't have to feed the thing, I would be fine with having a snake.
Yeah, no, unfortunately you would have to feed it or take clamps, with dead rats or something, or mice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't particularly like dead mice.
Yeah, I like mice, period.
Finding mice in a mouse trap or something. It's I'd rather deal with a ghost than dealing with a mouse in a mouse trap.
Yeah, absolutely.
What really gets me is watching those nature. This is totally off subject here, but whatever. Watching those nature videos where the spiders are eating the bugs and they wrap them up in the web, and it's like,
yeah. Don't they like drain the blood or something after they do that? Yeah.
It's like bugs eating other bugs bothers me, or snakes eating, big animals alive. But I could watch a lion eat a zebra, all day and not be affected by it. Not like I don't think I would sit there with it on a loop over and over again like that, but I would just think, oh, okay, this is fine. It's funny how different things affect different people,
Yep, that's true. It goes with the paranormal world as well, and everybody's affected differently.
So back to your story. You're in the dead spider room. You get any action in there, or any spider EVPs or anything coming through there?
No, I only brought the K2 with me in there, but I would get like on command responses on the K2, like how you would say, light it up red or green or yellow. And I actually had, because during that, there was a big sound of one of their items that comes down every so often, and the spirit had left, and I said, "Can you please come back?" And it ended up coming back and setting off the K2. It was pretty cool footage. The other piece that I actually was watching, and I was trying to get recorded because there's another area that I went and had this door, and I was in this other room, and you could hear the door jiggle, and I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Wait a minute, why is that door jiggling?" I'm sitting here by myself. I was trying to see if it was like an office on the other side, but there was nothing. You couldn't even get around to the door or nothing. And I would say, "Can you jiggle that door again?" And it would jiggle the door. And it's one of those experiences sometimes when you're there to experience it, because we did not have that captured on video.
Yeah, that was one kind of those things where it's basically just for you to experience.
Yeah. It was quite cool. But yeah, Ripley's, believe it or not, in Wisconsin has some really cool stuff over there.
So do you see yourself as having abilities as far as like psychic abilities, or do you see things more often now that you're investigating more often, or are you able to see more things, or is your light gotten brighter for the spirits to come to you?
Well, I have more intuition and sixth sense abilities that I have been coming out more and more. I've always had them, even as a kid. The spirits only allow me to hear them when they want. That's why I use equipment a lot. Not last year, but the year before, my actual dad, he died when I was a baby. And I go to his grave every Halloween because he died Halloween night. And 2 years ago, I went to the gravesite by myself, and it was dark out. And this was how I knew that my abilities were coming out a little bit more. I got out of my car, started walking over to my dad's grave, and I felt like I was crazy because I was the only one in the cemetery. It's dark, and I had over 10 people saying, "Hey, over here. You have to come over here." And I was like, I like turned in circles because I was like, what the heck?
Yeah,
And I
who's
was the
calling
only
me?
one there, and I would look at other graves. And then so I had to tell the spirits and said, "I'm sorry, I'm here to talk to my dad only. I'll come back and talk with you another day." But I heard over 10 voices at once. And that was, I just said, oh my gosh. And it is now starting again. So it's not all the time that happens though either.
Well, I mean, I guess that's good. That doesn't happen all the time because I guess it can get overwhelming, having to deal with all that. It's good that you know how to control it to keep it from happening all over again. I mean, I guess all the time.
Yeah.
Nathan Hardister says you need a pet snake. So Nathan says you need a pet snake. So
no,
you better get one.
Nathan Hardister, he is actually, if anybody's heard Paranormal in the Funhouse, he's actually the manager for them. So
nice.
he likes to try to collect dolls for their camera guy who gets scared all the time because I have a lot of dolls, obviously. So, but that's who Nathan is.
You're gonna have you can be the creepy. You're gonna be the creepy dollhouse.
Yeah, I'm eventually going to open up my own store. I'm in the process of that and going to be making different types of items and stuff to sell as well besides dolls. Most of the dolls that I do have, some of them I will not sell because they're just not for other people.
Yeah. You have to say what sentimental value or just
the way that you handle them. Yeah. I actually have a little tiny one. She's like this. She's in a glass case. She has 2 demonic attachments to her. So she was like, before this show started, she's on the table and I walked out of my room and she was lighting off the spirit ball in the case. So, but there's just, I mean, I have ones that have mental health issues. Those will reside with me because I've been working with them for so long. And why get rid of something, or rehome, I should say, something if you've been working with them and you built that rapport and trust.
They're almost like, I want to use that word, but like your children, where you've built this bond with them, and to sell them or move them to a different location would be almost like you're betraying them.
Yep.
I get it.
That's how I feel. I'm in a lot of doll groups, and I see that a lot, and spirits that are attached to either items or vessels, because I actually have 2 rosaries that are spirited as well. And people get worried because if the vessel's not relaxed in your home, they're going to say, hey, I'm a demon, or they're going to cause ruckus, or they're going to start throwing things in your home. And then to be able, and I take those, I generally will take those items in if people can't house them. Because some people throw them away and they don't realize that if you throw a spirited item away, it can come back and cause more havoc for you. Some people don't believe it, but it can happen.
So do you think they're actually demons in the dolls, or are they just saying that?
This one there actually is, but they are very rare. I've been trying to find one, and this one actually came in one of my friends from she's from Forget Me Not Paranormal. She'll send me a lot of the difficult vessels and stuff. And then we got confirmation. I actually did a live video. Should be posted to my Facebook page. I did a live video when I did an unveiling of the whole box of dolls. And then we did an investigation with that little one. So.
We got CR Zarn here, who's actually coming on the show in a couple of weeks to talk about an experience he had reenacting. And he lives in Minnesota too. Okay. He says, what places in Minnesota have you investigated?
Sure. My favorite place is the Palmer House. So if anybody is in Minnesota or even outside of Minnesota may have heard of the Palmer House Hotel, it's in Sauk Center. That building originally had burnt down and they rebuilt that hotel. You get some awesome evidence out at that hotel. I'm still trying to get this. They have a Scooby-Doo out there that they say that moves. Still can't get that thing to move, but the stuff that we've captured up there, the kids' room, I finally got the spirit ball to go off for the first time. You get responses in the kids' room. I was really excited about that. You can have knocking on your door. I've had items missing in the room. When I was still with Minnesota Spirit Hunters, we actually went up there, and in Lucy's room, which is room 17, the sink came on by itself when you're in the room. There was nobody near it, nothing. You actually have to, it's not automated. You know, where you put your hand under and it goes on, you actually have to turn it on, and the water actually turned itself on. So get different.
That's awesome, because the actual physical movement of the faucet nozzle.
Yeah, because we were just like, whoa, really?
Yeah.
And then we actually had a door because of that room. We actually had the door that started closing on its own. We had it open because we had one of the mediums was down the hall in the kids' room, kind of investigating, talking with the kids' spirits, and we had the hotel room door kind of closed. I try to go up there a couple times a year because I do get different responses. They also do a tour. They have an investigator team up there that does a basement tour, which is pretty cool.
Oh, fun. That's awesome. Let's see here. Anthony was asking, how do you get the dolls to relax?
They don't really get out of, I have boundaries. So there's 2 rules I have in my house for all my spirited items that they all follow. So the items that I do have, they all are from positive all the way to, I have my little demonic girl in there. They all follow this. You're not allowed to go into my daughter's room. You're not allowed to go in my room unless there's an emergency. That's it. I let them be themselves. And they just, as long as they can be themselves, I really don't have much issues in my house with them. I've seen like in the kitchen, one of my cupboard doors came open. I saw I had a sponge fly in the kitchen, but most of the time it's, if one of them's upset, they know what they can throw when they're upset, and we talk about it.
So what was why would a demon want to, is it stuck in the doll? Was it put there as a,
somebody?
I
think a lot of times they're put there. I think a lot of times it could be put there in a spirited item, just like the debut box. You know, think about how many of those that people want to get their hands on, because, you know, there's demons that were casted in there to be bound, or like witches, you know.
Yeah. It seems to me like, you know, a lot of times when people deal with demons, it doesn't turn out good for them because it's a bunch of mental stuff. They fuck with your heads. They do all that. It never doesn't turn out good. When you say you act like themselves, you know, you're not trying to make them act like a demon, because are you afraid of like them coming after you, you know, or?
No, I actually am not. I think because of the rules that I have in the home, and they respected, because she's up on that shelf. Her name is Betsy. I got her from a person that reached out to me because they had her wrapped up in a rosary, put her in a jar because they thought that she was evil because she had such high energy. And I was like, because she has high energy. I said, that doesn't make her evil. And ever since I got her here, even a medium couldn't read her. Nobody could read her, and I was able to get her name, and she just kind of lights off the spirit balls, which I'm surprised she hasn't yet. She likes to always get into conversations. So when they come here from homes that they're causing ruckus, like my clown doll open up at garages, turning off lights, throwing things, they seem to calm here for some reason. And it also could be my environment, because I try not to have a stressful environment in my home.
You do a lot of do you have like a lot of crystals and stuff?
I do.
And
I have a ton of crystals.
Do you meditate a lot?
I started increasing my meditation here in the home. I also, I have different herbs and crystals and candles and stuff that I deal with. But yeah, meditation is good. Grounding yourself. Always you should ground yourself. And even like on lives that we are doing, people still should protect themselves at their home, because you just never know that something could possibly talk and come through, because it has known to happen back in the history. I actually found the first email way back that actually spirits went through the computer and started sending emails to people that the family didn't even know in a different language. So it's pretty interesting. And I also found out, I don't know if anybody knows, the Amityville house, right?
Yeah.
So with the poltergeist, there's actually a family way back in England, I think it is, that I found. Very first family that had poltergeist activity. It's on YouTube. It was pretty interesting when you start looking back at some of those histories.
Yeah, that's the fun part about this, the internet, and being able to really research the paranormal. It's like there's a lot of stuff that is just right at your fingertips that was not available before, more than you could ever actually go through, as far as like different teams, different people using equipment, different theories, and it gets to be almost too much where it's like this guy says this person says that. It's like you really got to find what works for you and go with it.
Yeah, and you do, because I learned from a lot of people. We all investigate differently. We all have different abilities. We all have different investigative styles. We use different equipment. And I like investigating, collabing with others, because you can learn a lot. And and what I've been hearing lately is there's a lot of egotistical people out in the paranormal community right now that is causing havoc, because they are saying, I'm better than you. My evidence is that yours is fake. We need to stop. We need to stop that. I guess it's pretty bad out there. I've been kind of watching and talking to some people, because about maybe possibly doing a show wrapped around that, because really, guys, it's not about ego, right? It's about working together to figure out what is in that spirit realm. Everybody's gonna catch something differently. Me and you could go investigate at the same location. You might get something whole differently than what I get. But would I call you wrong and your stuff is fake because I wasn't standing there with you? Absolutely not. I would not do that, because if you're not really there, how can you sit there and call people fake? Or that's not real evidence?
Yeah, I mean,
some of those questions.
These with paranormal evidence, your word is your most important thing, because it is so it would be so easy for somebody to record something and then make a noise and say that it's paranormal. So you've got to be able to trust the person that this is what was said. This is what was happening. Like, you could investigate the Palmer House in Minnesota. I could investigate the cabin on 360. We both get an EVP saying hello. My EVP saying hello isn't any better than your EVP saying hello. They're both great pieces of evidence. But I mean, I think if you talk to anyone who is going to be a skeptic regardless of it, I could say, oh, well, I got this great picture of a ghost. Well, it was faked. Nothing can be proven unless the person was actually there. So you've got to trust the person, that the person is not going to bullshit you.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other good thing, though, too, so anybody listening to the show, whenever if you're not here tonight or you listen to it, document the let's say you're in the living room, 12:04 a.m. I heard this type of voice, whether you heard it with your own ears or with your equipment. Document those times, because then you can actually, when you go back on your evidence, if something does come out at that time, you can actually match those up as well.
Yeah, and I've been using instead of using just my recorder on my phone, I use my video on my phone as well. So I'm getting EVPs, plus I'm getting visual stuff, so people can see, hey, I'm the only one in this room, and I'm getting an EVP.
Yep.
Because it's frustrating, because you get all this cool stuff, but again, it's like, and I don't blame people for having doubts, because they weren't there,
right?
So again, it goes back to the whole trust thing. If they know that I'm not going to put something out there that I don't think is 100% evidence, then they wouldn't have a problem with it.
And that's how I feel too, especially when I start, like, I'm in a ton of groups. I manage a lot of groups, and when I see that, I sit here and go, well, if you weren't there, why are you being judgmental? Because their experiences would be way different than mine.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't there. I wasn't physically there. How can I say that that's fake if I wasn't there? How can I say that, you know, oh, that wasn't an actual EVP of a spirit. That was somebody on your team that was there. How do I know I wasn't there?
And that's why it's tough when people ask for opinions too.
Yeah.
Because you kind of got to walk a line where it's like, because again, I wasn't there. So I'll be like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's very cool. Or something like that. I'm gonna get too specific about it. Be like, oh, this is the best picture I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Again.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Especially if it's someone I don't know. You know, it's don't want to hurt people's feelings, I guess.
Yeah, and there might
or
be
damage their excitement. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is just a bunch of dirt or whatever. But I'm like, okay, it's interesting.
Yeah, and you might be investigating with somebody that may have seen or heard something, and you might have been there, but you didn't hear or see that. Are you gonna down them in that moment? Like, oh, no, that's not it. No, you just I just sit back and I just kind of let it kind of roll, you know, because you have evidence to look at with footage too, to compare. So,
well, I'll investigate with people who are mediums and stuff, and they'll be like, oh, there's a guy standing right there in the corner looking at you. And you look at there's no guy standing over there. But I trust him. And I trust that he's not making it up. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You know, I just go along with it. I don't consider that like, you know, hard evidence that there was somebody actually standing there. I mean, well, my friend saw it, so it must be true.
Right.
I mean, it's true to me. But I don't know if it'll be true to everybody else.
Right.
You know, so, you know.
And that's true. Working with psychics or clairvoyants or mediums, you know, they are going to see different things than we do, because we went to a lake here in Minnesota because it is known for a native spirit to be drowned in this lake, and the medium saw something way across the lake. I had like this intuition feeling that something was there, but I physically couldn't see it. I could feel the energy, but she saw it. She goes, "Can't you see right there?" And I was like, you're seeing things more than I can, you know.
It's so frustrating too. Can't you see it? It's right there. Can't you? Like, no, I can't freaking see it.
It's like, no, I'm sorry, I don't have that ability to see. They're not allowing me to see for some reason, you know. So it just depends. So it just depends.
Or the worst is when you have a crystal clear EVP that you know is awesome, and you play it for somebody, they can't hear it. And you're like, what do you mean you can't hear it? It's just right there. See, it says right. Nope, I can't hear anything. It just sounds like
right. Yeah.
No, like I'm turning it up as far as it can go. You know, blasting their ears out. You hear it now?
Right. And some of those things you do have to listen to, spirit boxes, apps. You know, you really have to listen to some of those because of that white noise. If there is a lot of static, it is hard.
Well, that's annoying to go through. That when you listen to it back.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So CR was asking, what lake did you guys go to and saw
I'd have to look it back up. It wouldn't take me long, CR, so I can shoot you a message. It was up north. Also, you can type in, what is it called? You know how they have those explore pages for every state where it says Minnesota Explore or haunted places something? You can actually look on there. It'll show up on there. I'm trying to think. It might be called Spirit Lake. But don't quote me on that if I'm correct or not on that.
Well, that's an awesome name. Spirit Lake. That narrows it down right there. That's
I think. But the history,
it's called Indian Ghost Lake, actually.
Yeah. No, and we got there's other cool places here, like if anybody's heard of Hell's Tunnel. You can't find a lot of history on Hell's Tunnel. You really have to dig. So the history of Hell's Tunnel, it used to be an old asylum way, way back, I believe in the 1800s. So you have people mentally ill. And this tunnel, the workers would transport, you know, patients back and forth because the tunnel went back and forth to the facility. So this tunnel is actually really cool. And I got it really cool. We got cool video footage because I was on the inside of the tunnel with my daughter, who is 16, who's a medium. And my investigator, a lead investigator, was outside the tunnel. So we had two different angles. So I had the spirit box rolling, and you could hear a man's voice yell at you saying, "Get out." It was super cool. And on this video, the K2 meter, because when I was asking for it to let us know if they want us here still in the tunnel or something, the K2 literally got slammed over. There is no wind going through this tunnel. You can't even get live signal in that tunnel. So we had to actually just record it on our phones. But we had some really cool evidence from that place. You have to walk awesome. You have to walk a mile in though to get there.
Hey, it's not called Hell's Tunnel for nothing.
Oh, it's awesome.
They make you earn it.
Yeah, I'm going to be going back there. And then the Boyd House, pretty popular. I'm sure a lot of people know about the Boyd House. A lot of teams, even out of state, investigate the Boyd House as well. So those are some fun places. One cool thing that I'm doing, guys, I'm still not a video editor. So last year I decided to look up like murders in Minnesota. And one came up for February. There was at this time was an open homicide case at the time. There was a young lady, she was 41, I think, years old, who was murdered in a hotel room. And we actually went and was able to get in to this room that they just unlocked from the police. And on the live video that I do have on my Facebook shows the actual blood still on the bed that was in the room. I am putting together footage for an episode for my cameras and stuff, and we got some really, really cool stuff. I'm just not done with it because I'm not a video editor. So it's taken me forever trying to piece everything together because there's so much. So
yeah, it's tough to when you don't know what you're doing. I'm over here. I make videos, but I like use my Apple movie editor on my phone to do it. So, and you could tell that it probably looks like it's made by a kindergartner. Probably, shoot, a kindergartner would probably do it better than I can.
Yeah, video editing is tough. I use Filmora. I have it on my phone, and I also have it on my computer to put, bigger projects together. The Filmora goal that I do is just little videos, or I'll create reels from them and throw them out, on Facebook. But yeah, so hopefully when I can get that put together and finalize that, it's going to be really cool to watch. Because we're going to go back. I want to go back to that hotel because that person who actually killed her was the boyfriend / husband at the time, but they didn't know that until months later. He's actually in jail. And so I kind of want to go back to that room now and to be able to communicate with that spirit. Her name was Lisa, and communicate to see how she's feeling now that he's behind bars. Her own kids watch there's kids that watch their mom get killed in that room.
That is so sad.
Yeah, and the other part I saw on the reports that he tried taking her body out of that hotel room down a staircase, but then saw people and brought her back up into the room, then called 911 and tried to say he was trying to resuscitate her. There was so much in that case that at first they believed the guy that he didn't kill her, but when they started piecing it together, he's now behind bars.
How long ago was the case? How long ago did it happen? February
2022.
Wow. So when you do stuff like that, do you talk to the family beforehand, or you say, hey, is it okay for me to do this? Or
this was in the news, and I talked to the hotel itself. So it's just investigating the hotel itself. Yeah. We did not state names. We didn't do any of that. We wanted to keep it closed because it was an open homicide case.
Yeah.
At that time. And I was curious because I wasn't even sure if we could get in with the hotel, and the hotel actually gave us 2-hour window time frame. We did not disclose our location. We did not disclose the hotel. We kept it pretty quiet.
So the family's not going to know anything about it.
No.
Yeah.
It's kept it quiet.
Yeah, over at the we do my investigations at the cabin. There was a 12-year-old girl that was shot and killed by her 17-year-old brother in the brick rancher that's next to the cabin. And we'll go out and we'll investigate out there. But this is 40 years later.
Okay.
We haven't talked to the parents or the family about it. We just kind of do our thing. And if they want to talk to us about it, we're more than welcome to talk to them and explain what we're doing. But we were doing a spirit box session in the girls' room, and my friend Dennis asked if the name Randy Lynn Elliott is significant. That's the name of the brother who killed the girl. And the little girl's voice comes through clear as day saying, he did it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'll send it to you when we get off of here.
That's awesome. How did you react when you had that response?
I mean, I was shocked, I was very happy, that we got that kind of response. But we had been investigating that house for probably 2 years by then. So we had gotten some pretty cool responses. But yeah, that was one of the things where it's like, oh, wow. I'd be like, oh yeah, he did it. Clear as day. But then again, you're hearing a spirit box so it's going by fast.
Yep.
So you don't know for sure that's what they said. Because sometimes I'll go back and I'll think it's something so clear that I'll go back and listen to it with my headphones on, and it's something completely different. Like,
it can be.
So you got to have kind of a tepid response to what you hear at first on a spirit box, because sometimes it turns out to be not exactly that. But yeah, it's very interesting when you get a response like that.
I'd be excited too. I would just be like, if I would just like, whoa, we just got that type of response. That's pretty cool. Yeah,
it is all. I love it, especially when you're investigating your own location and you get into stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's helps prove, what we're talking about, What we're almost done. I got like 10 minutes left. What would you say is your most like scary moment you've been through while investigating the paranormal? As you've been like, holy crap, this is real?
I have really, to be honest, I haven't had that yet. I'm pretty excited when I go to investigations, and I really haven't had anything that scared me. So I did the world. So what was really funny, I still have to look at the footage, but I did the world's largest ghost hunt this last year, and I went to Illinois to the Salem Hospital House, and my equipment maker, Dee's Ghost, Jesse, and his daughter came with. And so the funniest scary moment for me is when he scared the crap out of me when I was in the room. I was sitting in a room. We were going to create like as a padded room and see if spirits could come in and talk. And when he came over and scared the crap out of me, and I like screamed. But spirituality with spirits and stuff, I really haven't had that type of experience quite yet.
Yeah, I've never, as far as like, I've never been super scared. When if I'm with somebody, which I usually am investigating with somebody, I don't get scared. As far as because I know I have somebody with me. I might get nervous if I go to the cabin or the ranch by myself. I might get nervous, but nothing more than that. I haven't had a jump scare yet. Nothing's really jumped out at me or grabbed me or did anything like that. Like I've seen apparitions, but it's like, when you see something and it takes a while for your brain to catch up to you.
Yep.
Yeah, like, and it's there for like a second, and then you turn around, you finally calls on you what you're seeing, and then it disappears.
And it's gone. Yep.
Yeah. I'm guaranteed that's what people see when they see Bigfoot. They're like, oh my God. Then they realize, oh, I got my camera out. Oh, I gotta find the app. I gotta push. Yeah.
And here's what everybody has to understand though, too, Ryan, is you might see things and not get it captured. That happens.
Yeah.
Too. You could have like, the coolest thing happen to you, and all of a sudden you don't have it captured, but you were able to see it for yourself. And when you tell people are just like, yeah, whatever. But you have your personal experiences too. It's just not always about capturing the things on video, because my equipment maker, Jesse, he does and goes out on investigations because he does it for his personal experience, which was kind of cool to hear. Because there are people out there that do it just because they want to have their personal experience to talk about. It's not all about what we're capturing. on video or on recorders or anything like that. It's for them.
Yeah, we had a team come out last weekend to the cabin, and they went into the brick house, and they said their equipment drained. All the equipment drained like 15 minutes. So they decided to take their recorders and go upstairs to the bedrooms. They each went to separate bedrooms, and they do something where they sit there for like 10 minutes and don't say a word. You put the recorders down in front of them, and they'll sit there for 10 minutes and not talk, and hopefully get some responses or get like, I don't know, residual stuff on their recorders. So 10 minutes goes up, and one of the guy in I think the parents' room started listening to his recordings, and his wife was in Melissa's room, and she said she thought it sounded like rock and roll music playing. So she was like, "What is that? What is that noise? What'd you record?" And he said it sounded like there was static on the recorder, like a radio static, but with like groans and heavy breathing throughout. So they're all excited. They play the video for each other. They play the recording for each other. They play it for their daughter. And they get back home. They go to splice it up, and the static is gone. It's gone, and all they have left is the heavy breathing. And you think, well, heavy breathing has got to be the person. That's what people would think. Well,
right.
But they were so convinced that this is, and I believe them. I don't think they'd be bullshitting. And again, that's another thing where it's like you've got to have that trust.
Yeah, we've had footage even on the old team I was on, Minnesota Spirit Hunter team. We had footage completely disappear from a location after we literally recorded it, and it back, it was gone. So
I've had that happen too.
It's really weird because it's like, how does it just disappear? And you're like, what?
I don't know. It's the thing we don't know, but I think we don't know about the spirit world. We don't know the rules.
Right.
You might think we know the rules, but we really don't. We're just guessing and hoping that we're right when it comes to that kind of stuff, because they could change it.
Yep.
Yeah,
because what would the rules be over there? Could you imagine? Is it free reign?
Yeah.
Is it where, is it free reign? Is it because they can go do what they want? They can go into other people's homes? Is it, I don't know.
There might not be any rules at all. We have to think there are rules, but I don't know. It's crazy to think about. So tell me about the Paranormal Mayhem Podcast.
So I created Paranormal Mayhem Podcast because I've seen a lot of drama out there. I went through it a lot too, guys. I've dealt with drama. I've dealt with people trying to get into my personal business when it has nothing to do with the paranormal community. So Paranormal Mayhem I came up with, it's kind of like, let's get some mayhem going on. I'd like to do like a show, kind of, like if you ever seen Jerry Springer, just let everybody come on and battle it out, at least once a month. That would be super fun.
It'd be entertaining.
It would be. But yeah, I created my own podcast, and I will get it moving a little bit more. I've had I've had a couple psychic mediums on there already. And so we'll hopefully build up some more on that.
And what's the name of your YouTube channel?
It's under Key to the Other Side for my YouTube channel.
Do you have a show? Do you do shows every weekend, or?
I'd like to do shows every week. Right now, at my job, I work overnights, and so I'm working up to 6 days a week right now because we have 2 girls out on maternity leave. So
okay.
Yeah, so it makes it kind of hard to try to get anything done during the week. Sometimes I'll go random with lives, sometimes and then others that I'll schedule. So just because I don't have a schedule yet, but I'd like to get one once these 2 girls come back from maternity leave. Hopefully, I can kind of get that schedule a little bit easier.
It's tough when you're working so hard and have to do, because your shows are like 2 hours long too. So it's
sometimes
yeah.
When I had, I know when I bring Daniel Jackson back on, I think we did, that was a 3-hour show. That's when Dooney jumped off the shelf twice, and I had to, figure out the time frames on that for people to see. So But it does. I mean, if you get carried into a conversation, and if the guest wants to stay longer, depending on the conversation, we might stay a little bit longer. I know when I bring Daniel Jackson back on, he'll be doing readings at that time. I'll be reaching out to him and see what his availability is, because he'll be doing some readings for the audience as well.
Cool. Well, I'll be sure to look out for that. I gotta thank you very much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for inviting.
Chatting with us tonight. Hope you had a good time.
Absolutely. Saw some faces that I know.
Very cool. Very cool. Look forward to maybe having you back here on here, and we'll chat some more about the paranormal. I got some more questions I'd like to ask you. And
yeah, anytime. Just let me know,
right.
And we'll make it work.
Perfect. You have a great night.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. All right. Well, that was fun talking to Lisa. I really enjoyed our conversation. Next week, we're talking to Arkansas State Paranormal. So we're going to go from Minnesota all the way down to Arkansas. Talk about ghosts down there. So very excited, and hope you guys have a great night. We'll be back here. Same freaking awesome time. Same freaking awesome channel. Good night.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to the show. Hope you guys had a good time, and we'll be back next week with Arkansas State Paranormal. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, CR, for tuning in. Anthony, Brenda, everybody. Hope you have a good night, and we'll see you soon. Bye.